Are you guilty of oversharing as a leader? I want to expand on something that Brené Brown touches on that I think in all the talk about vulnerability and leadership, we tend to overlook. She says vulnerability without boundaries is not vulnerability, and asks us to think about why we're sharing and whether it's productive and appropriate. And what I want to explore with you is in the context of my work, which is partnering with leaders, including founders and entrepreneurs. And in conversations, the question that comes up again and again is this: can you be too vulnerable? What they're really asking is, how much is okay to share? How much of my worries and issues is okay to share with my team, my direct reports, my peers, or my boss even? They're worried about oversharing because they're not clear on what is actually valuable and useful to share, as distinct from just offloading because we feel alone and want some relief or sympathy. And it's a tough place to be. They are right to be worried about it because they could be introducing risk that need not be there. Let's start with what leaders are worried about in oversharing. Well, you're making a lot of difficult decisions all the time. You're feeling conflicted between being a good leader who is liked and making the right business call. You're looking over the cliff edge. Can I pay everyone this month? Are we going to close enough deals to survive the quarter? If Amanda doesn't get a promotion this round, will she leave? Zach is a technical genius, but he's killing our culture. James is my friend, and he's underperforming and costing the business a lot of money. Rather than securing funding, I'm being asked to make half my team redundant. There's evidence that our supplier might be stealing our IP. 30% of our customers are threatening to end their subscriptions, and I don't know how we're going to replace that revenue. These are real worries that keep us awake at night, and there often are no clean and simple answers to them. We doubt ourselves and our judgments, and that causes us stress and anxiety. So, as a leader who wants to be vulnerable, open, and transparent, who wants to be a good leader, how do you figure out what's okay to share? All of it, some of it, or none of it? Only you can come to the right choice for your situation. But in addition to thinking about what's appropriate and productive, I would flip the coin and ask you to think about which option, sharing all, some, or none, introduces the most unacceptable risk, i.e., risk that will damage your culture or your business in ways that you can't reverse or undo. Sharing too much might breach trust agreements, or it might distract people from doing their best work or damage your culture. That could prove to be a wholly unacceptable risk because collaboration becomes impossible or delivery timelines and contracts become compromised. Sharing too little or trying to put an unrealistic or positive spin on things might also introduce doubt and distrust. Remember, people are watching your actions more than listening to your words. If there are problems, it's highly likely people already know about it. So denying or falling silent about it is seen as deception. People reach their own conclusions and view you as less competent. Is that an unacceptable risk? As a leader, you've got two considerations here. One is figuring out what you're going to share, and the second is what will that sharing look like? In figuring out what to share, work out which of your mentors would be helpful. Which of your peers can you trust to talk things through with? It might be best that they're people outside your organization who are impartial, who can offer a different perspective or share their experiences, and who want you to thrive. Getting clear on what you think, working through your conflicting thoughts, stress testing your options. These are all reasons leaders hire executive coaches like me to have a safe, confidential thinking space to explore and plan their approach, to be completely vulnerable and know that there won't be a backlash, that there won't be introducing risk into their business while they're figuring things out. The second point about what that sharing with your people looks like, how about considering these two things? How can you use it to focus your people? And secondly, what can you be personally vulnerable about? In other words, What discomfort are you experiencing that is useful to share and that will not introduce a risk that is unacceptable? Sharing may still involve uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure, but what you choose to share won't be breaching a boundary because it's inappropriate or unproductive to others. Leaders who coach learn to be both intentional and strategic in how they approach their conversations and what they choose to share. They factor in all their stakeholders, from individuals to teams or groups. And don't forget, there may also be contractual and legal aspects in these conversations. If you're grounded as a leader with a strong self-awareness, like knowing your values and your blind spots, and you're emotionally connected to your people, working out your approach is much easier. The added bonus is that the focus is less about your courage and more on the impact that sharing certain information will have on others and the business. And if you've got great conversation skills, then you're even more capable at navigating these knots, the emotions, the conflicts, and so on in those conversations by listening, asking useful questions, responding in helpful ways that move the conversation forward, focusing on sharing the useful aspects of a situation that help people make good decisions, and making sure you're not inadvertently shutting conversations down. So being vulnerable and courageous is much easier when you've got these three capabilities. You're grounded, emotionally connected to people, and have great conversation skills. These capabilities help you read the situation more accurately and also respond appropriately. They help you work out how to be vulnerable in useful ways instead of oversharing and overwhelming the people you're relying on. If you'd like to read my full discussion on vulnerability without boundaries or learn more about the 3 leadership capabilities I've talked about, then do check out the links below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, drop in a comment or question below and share it. Check out my other videos on the skills of leaders who coach and many other aspects of leadership in practice.